I have a story to start with. You know, I mentioned that I have a little girl named Sydney Grace, but I don't just live with Sydney Grace in my house. I actually live with a fairy tale princess. I do. I really do. She is right now discovering sort of the fun of Cinderella. I'm Jack, and she's Gus Gus a lot of the time, the two little mice. And Ariel, Sleeping Beauty, we don't watch, she always says Grandma skips the bad parts, because I don't let her watch like scary things, and so Grandma skips that part with the witch. So I live with a fairy tale princess, and she's starting to figure out the princes too. And she loves to have these balls with all of her stuffed animals, and she invites her daddy, and they dance in the kitchen. And at night, she climbs up onto my lap. Moms, you remember what that's like, right? She's getting a little too big. She's tall like me. She climbs up onto my lap. Mommy, tell me a story. And so I make up these stories about Princess Sydney Grace, and she's very brave, and she fights dragons most times. And I realize that as I tell her these stories about the fairy tales and being a princess and help her with her imagination, I want her to understand in her own life how to be brave too. How there's more to being a princess than just a really cute dress, although that is really cute. But I want her to be courageous and know that she's cherished and can be brave. You know, she's really got the end of every story down. She's got it figured out. We get to the end of the story, and she looks up at me, and I'll say, and then what happened next? And she'll say, and they get married, and they live happily ever after. She'll say it with 2-year-old delight. They live happily ever after, Mommy. Kiss Daddy. Happily ever after. Pretty sweet. Pretty innocent, right? Innocence makes it really easy to be pure. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty pure. But the thing of it is, unless we go through every day with our ears plugged and our eyes closed, it's really hard to stay innocent, even at your age, girls, right? I mean, look at the artwork you did earlier today and what's on the table and the things that you see. It's hard to keep yourself innocent. In fact, it's pretty much impossible. And it's not just that the world does this to us, we're sinful people. And so on the inside, we're kind of ucky and gummy, and sometimes we do this to ourselves. And so it's really hard to stay innocent. It's really hard to stay pure. You know, we've been talking a lot this morning about sex and our bodies and all of these things. And I'd like to start this morning by looking at a story in the Bible about a man and a woman who made some pretty bad choices with their bodies. And I'd like you all, if you have your Bibles, to open up to the Gospel of John, chapter 8. This is a story about a man and a woman who did some pretty impure things. And Jesus has a lesson for us. Now, the story is about, and again, we learned this one in Sunday school too. The story is about someone called the adulterous woman. Moms, I'd like you to take 30 seconds and just explain to your girls what an adulteress, just what that is. Would you take 30 seconds to just explain to your daughter what that is if they're not sure?